What's good, y'all? How y'all doing on this beautiful day, man? You hear the birds chirping. The birds chirping today, boy. The birds is up. But man, I had this message just come to me while I was on my walk. And it's basically that communication is key, man. Communication is key. And what I mean by that is if you can communicate, whether that be with your partner, whether that be with your boss, whether that be with your friends, your connections, the people around you, your mentors, whoever it might be. But if you can communicate, you have a lot of the battle finished or controlled. Because I had a mentor tell me, hey, Sam, what's the most valuable thing in life? Or what's one of the most valuable things in life? And I couldn't think of one. I was giving all types of answers. Of course, I said God. Of course, he agreed. He was like, okay, what else after God? Money, love, different things like that. I started to say, and he's like, relationships. And he said relationships because if you lose all your money, if you go to zero, you can always get it back with relationships. Relationships could either help you, they can motivate you to keep going. They can do so much more for you than these monetary things or these objects that we have. And I agree with that. I agree because a lot of times that I need a client or I want to get to the next level, relationships have helped me. And even this mentor, he has helped me reach another level through God, of course. God is always the number one in everything. But these relationships that people have or that you may have, you may not realize how valuable they are. And if you can properly communicate with these relationships, they can take you far. And communication is key in your relationship with your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse. It's key with your family. It's key with your employer or your employees. Like if you can communicate, man, you have a power that a lot of people don't have. And that's something I've been working on. I've been working on how I speak, how I communicate with people, how I listen. Because communication isn't all about talking. It isn't all about, what comes out of your mouth. It's able to take the information that you're getting, process it, and then give a valuable response back. And if you could communicate, if you could learn how to communicate, if you can get your communication better, you'll see a lot of your relationships improve. I've seen it with mine. I'm gonna just speak on my story. I know me and my fiance, we may, get into things, we may argue, but at the end of the day, we communicate. And if you can communicate, you can get through some of those things. And sometimes you may think that, okay, this person already knows what I'm thinking, or this person should know. Whether it be anybody, it doesn't even have to be the person that you talk to or your spouse, but just anybody. You may think that they already know, and you're saying all of these things in your head. But in reality, they don't know because you never actually communicated how you feel. You never were real about what you actually thought in your head. And if you can gather up those thoughts, because I know, especially me, sometimes you got a million thoughts in your head and you don't know how to get them all off. Just continue to progress and get better at just getting it out, man. You got to get it out to somebody. And if you could continue to work on your communication, if you could continue to gather your thoughts and really communicate with somebody, you'll see things start to get better. I seen it get better in my relationship. When I was younger, I didn't like to talk. I'm gonna be real. I didn't like to, always express my emotions and express how I'm feeling. I thought it was soft. I thought it was like, oh, I'm gonna just keep it to myself because they don't care anywhere. They ain't gonna understand. But actually, people will understand. People do feel you. People may understand where you're coming from if you actually just say it. But sometimes we get in our own head. We don't see the value in communication, and it goes the other way. It goes a way that we didn't expect, and we wondering like, okay, why isn't this working? Or why don't they understand me? And it may be because you're not communicating. I'm not saying for every situation, but it is key to have communication in a lot of your relationships. Same thing with somebody that you may know, or a mentor, or somebody in business. If you can communicate with them properly, if you can get your ideas and your thoughts off correctly to them, then they may want to work with you. Then they may understand, okay, this thing that you're trying to offer to them, this thing that you're trying to sell to them, and then they'll be able to buy, or then they'll be able to work with you. But if they don't actually understand where you're coming from, they don't really get the clear picture of what you're saying, and it might be harder for them to understand you. It may be harder for them to work with you because they don't really get what you're saying. So communication is key in a lot of areas of our life. A lot of areas. I know for me especially, as I started to work on my communication, as I started to work on my relationships, things started to get better in my life. And don't get me wrong, every person you communicate with isn't going to understand you. I'm not saying that. But just continue to get better, continue to work on how you communicate, continue to work on the people who are around you. And you can start with your family. You can start with the closest person to you, the person you talk to the most. Just what I used to do is I used to go on YouTube. I tell people all the time, I'm a YouTube University graduate. I got my master's at YouTube University. YouTube is something that I learned a lot from, man. And just search up some communication videos, how to communicate, with your spouse, or how to communicate with your boss or your employer, how to get your thoughts off, how to express your emotions. Like, I would search these videos literally and just try to see and pick people's brains. Everybody who you come across, don't get me wrong, is not somebody you should listen to. Don't get me wrong, but you use your gut, you use your inner understanding to figure out who you should listen to and what's valuable information when you hear it. But I know for me, I learned a lot from YouTube. I learned a lot from just searching things online, reading blogs, watching videos. So that's one way that helped me. And then another way is mentors. Get somebody in your life who is a good communicator. Get somebody in your life who is successful with communication and they speak properly. They're able to have great relationships. They have great relationships with people. Study them. You don't always have to you don't always have to ask them, but just watch their movements. Watch how they talk to people. Watch how they engage with people. Watch how they listen. Because a lot of people think that communication is just talking, but you have to be able to listen, because when you're able to listen, it opens people up to wanting to talk to you. It opens people up to understanding where you're coming from, because, hey, this person actually is listening to me. This person actually cares about what I'm saying. And I was saying that in another video of mine, that I'm like the glue of my family. Like, a lot of people in my family, they talk to me because they understand that I listen, bro. Sometimes I don't even say nothing about me, or I don't even talk about me. I just let them get off everything that they want to say. And I would say read books too. One of the greatest books that I probably read on communication is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was a great book. Like, one of the best books that I ever read. And it was basically one of the key things that I got from How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't want to get a whole book away, but one of the key things in there was basically people care a lot about themselves. And that's just a fact. I mean, some people may not think so, or they don't agree with that, but a lot of people just care about themselves and they just want to talk about themselves. So if you're able to just let them get it off, let them talk about themselves, keep bigging up themselves, keep asking them more questions about what they're talking about, watch how they open up to you and watch how they gravitate more to you just by you just listening and talking more about them. Don't start to input your stuff in there. So if they're talking about, their job and what's going on with them, don't start talking about your job and what's going on with you. What else is going on in your job? Dang, that's crazy. All right. Well, why are they doing that at you? Like, just keep talking about them, and you'll realize like how better your relationship starts to get with that person, just because you just keep talking about them and you keep, being more interested in about the things they have going on. It works, man. It worked for me. Communication is key. Just know that has helped me so much in the past. I would say 4 years. I just been working on myself and just working on my communication and how I talk to people, how I receive information from people. So if you didn't get anything from this video, just understand that communication is key. You have to be a good communicator if you want to get to certain levels in life. So I appreciate y'all sticking around to the end of this video. Again, if you found any value, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna be dropping videos daily. So just continue to just follow my progress. I appreciate y'all showing me love, and I'm out.